The year was 1910, a time of horse-drawn carriages and bustling farm towns, where secrets swirled thicker than autumn leaves. Alice, not yet having reached her 20th birthday, knew what her parents expected of her now that she was of marrying age. Her grandparents had immigrated from Ireland and were among the first settlers in the county. In her parents' eyes, Alice would marry a Catholic Irishman and continue the family's legacy as successful farmers, alders, and businessmen in the same town on the same land. Robert, a 20-year-old of German descent, had eyes as blue as the Minnesota sky. The fields his father owned began as a Civil War land grant and had grown to nearly 600 acres. Robert had been clearing and farming the land with his father full-time for over 5 years, only resting on Sundays for attendance at the nearby Lutheran church, where the services were always said in German. As the oldest son, his parents held the belief that Robert would marry a German girl, bring little German babies into the world, and take over the running of the family farm. For the parents of both Alice and Robert, the idea that their children would mingle among people outside of their ethnicity, and worse, outside their faith, was inconceivable. If it had been, they probably would not have given permission to attend the barn dances the young adults in the community regularly held that were just a horse and buggy ride away. Robert, a year older than Alice, had been attending barn dances with his friends for quite a while and was a favorite among the young ladies, for he had a charming smile, eyes that twinkled in the lantern light, and well-honed dance skills. Alice's dance skills were impressive for a first-timer and caught Robert's attention. The two became favorite dance partners and looked forward to seeing each other every week. Their love grew stronger each time they met up and with each shared word. But the whispers of prejudice cast long shadows. Ancient feuds and clashing faiths made it impossible for the couple to openly court, for Robert knew that he'd never received the permission of Alice's father. The couple soon made a secret plan to get married, believing that once done, their families would accept the union. Alice's faith was strong, and Robert agreed that they would get married by a priest and raise their children Catholic. He obtained a marriage license at the Scott County Courthouse, and with it, and little else, the couple met at the station. With hearts pounding like runaway horses, they boarded the train, leaving behind everything they knew for a promise whispered under a harvest moon, a promise to be one, despite the world's disapproval. St. Paul, a city of new beginnings, held the key to their dreams. But the path to forever proved steeper than imagined. The church, bound by ancient rules forbidding interfaith marriages, slammed its doors on their union. Despair threatened to drown their hope. Thinking quickly, Robert brought them to the Minneapolis courthouse for an unceremonious union. With a simple band of a ring slid onto Alice's finger and a judge's pronouncement, they were husband and wife, bound not by God's blessing, but by the unyielding spirit of their love. Though nervous to return home and share the news with her family, even Alice was shocked by her parents' rejection. Robert's family also was reluctant to offer their blessing and congratulation, but perceptions and propriety needed to be maintained. Though their marriage was legal in the eyes of the state, Alice's family would never approve unless the holy sacrament of marriage was performed in a Catholic church by a Catholic priest, requiring paperwork that would need to be reviewed and approved by the archbishop, 3 readings of the banns, and ultimately the patience of Job. While they waited, life unfolded, painted in the hues of seasons changing. The couple welcomed their first baby. Alice attended regular Mass at her childhood house of worship and had her son baptized there. Yet, when the special dispensation finally came through nearly 2 years later, the couple made their vows before God at a different church with strangers as witnesses. The ceremony was even more unceremonious than what Alice had experienced at the courthouse years prior, but it met the needs of her mother and a reunion ensued. 10 years later, Alice and Robert grew tired of the farming life, and with their 3 school-aged children moved to St. Paul, where Robert took a job as a streetcar operator. They soon welcomed a 4th child. Though busy with work, raising 4 children, as well as living through the Great Depression and 2 world wars, the couple found time to attend dances with their city friends, reliving their youth. It wasn't until nearly a decade after Robert died at age 79 that Alice, never having told any of her friends or even her own children, relayed the story of her 2 weddings to her granddaughter in hushed tones, who later shared it with me. A legacy passed down like a precious heirloom.